This is Girls, Gains, and Growing Pains, a podcast about working smarter and harder to achieve your fitness goals. In every episode, we break down common health and fitness questions in a fun and relatable way.
Whether you're a beginner or far along on your fitness journey, this podcast is for you. I'm Rachel Johns. I'm a bikini bodybuilder. I'm nutrition certified through Precision Nutrition, and I'm a NASM certified personal trainer.
And I'm Julia Ross, just a regular gal trying to get healthier and lose weight. Today, we're so excited to introduce ourselves and help you get to know the podcast, Girls, Gains, and Growing Pains. Rachel, why don't you kick us off with a little bit more about you?
I would love to. So, I am a personal trainer in Southern California, but I actually grew up in the Midwest in Indiana. So I'm an original Hoosier, and I grew up as a gymnast, and then I moved to California for college, and I was a springboard diver at Azusa Pacific. And then after that, I continued coaching gymnastics, and then I got into group fitness. So I taught cycle classes, aqua aerobics, booty building classes, all the fun classes that you take at typical LA fitnesses. And then I decided to get my personal training certification after that. And once I got that, I worked at Gold's Gym. The pandemic happened, and so then I actually worked as a medical scribe in an ER for 3 years. And then after that, I decided it was time for a little change. I was living in the Inland Empire, and then I moved to Pasadena. I started working at Equinox. I love working at Equinox. And then I do a lot of nutrition training. I do lifestyle training. My cats are fighting right now, if you hear them. And yeah, so fitness is pretty much the center of my world. I am currently a student at USC, getting my master's in public health. And I do photography. I have a lot of hobbies. So yeah, that's it. I have 2 big dogs and 3 cute cats that will meow constantly throughout this. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. Julia, how about you share a little bit about you?
So if fitness is the center of your world, fitness is like the Pluto to my sun. My story is a varied one. So growing up, I grew up in Northern California, and now I'm also based in Southern California. I was always really active as a kid, loved doing sports. We literally had a rock climbing wall in my house that my dad built. So I grew up and was always really muscly and sporty. And in high school, I was varsity track captain for a couple years, and I did varsity track, varsity tennis, so really athletic. I went to Chapman University for 6 years, just couldn't get enough. Did my undergrad in strategic and corporate communication, and then got my post-grad degree, just a master's in health and strategic communication.
Just a master's.
Just whatever.
She's a smart girlie.
Just throwing one. Just the first of many. While I was doing that, I was also a teacher, which is like kind of random, but that was a fun little spot in my life. But long story short, when I got to college, I stopped all physical movement. Fitness just disappeared out of my life. I went from working out like 2 hours a day to never going into the gym ever. Mm-hmm. And so after college, COVID took a lot out of me. I was a teacher during COVID, which was rough. Mm-hmm. So after that, I just noticed my health really declining. And that was when Rachel came into my life. So do we actually want to talk a little bit about how we met? It's kind of funny.
Because we met in such a weird way, too, that it was very unexpected. So we have a mutual friend who you still always ask me, too. You're like, have you met Dorianne? I'm like, that's how we met.
I literally know her.
I literally
so
know
crazy.
her. So it was funny, too, because when I met you, so we were going on a content creating trip with 2 other girls, and we met at my apartment parking lot, and we all drove to Nevada and did this like whole trip of content creating. And it's so funny because the first night we all slept in the same hotel room.
Oh God.
I didn't know anyone but Laura. I didn't know you or Dorianne. And I was like laying there, and I didn't know you, and I was like, this girl snores like a drain. And I'm like looking around. I'm like, is anyone else even asleep? And I'm looking around, and both the other 2 girls were wide awake. Like everyone's wide awake except for Julia, who's like passed out.
Sleeping like a little baby.
Yeah. And that was like our first, like my main core memory of you. But the trip was really fun. We got some really cool content. We made some good memories then.
We did.
And then ever since then, we hang out all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been close to like almost 2 years since that trip.
Wait,
and
that's crazy. Yeah. Don't age me like that. Whoa.
So yeah, that's how we met. We were content creating. Julia was like really into TikTok.
I was.
Had all the TikToks planned. We did the Snap thing and stuff. And then I was into Instagram.
Yep.
Like that was my key thing. And I wasn't even really into a fitness Instagram at the time either. I was just doing my modeling. And we just really... We clicked. We hang out more than I think we see the other girls.
And literally, for reference, the guest room in Rachel's house is referred to as Julia's room. So.
Yeah, so Julia stays with us on the weekends, every weekend.
Every weekend.
The cats are very used to her. So yeah, so that's how we met. It was great. And now we're both kind of on different journeys, but Julia and I have kind of locked together on this journey. So I'm coaching Julia.
Yes.
So Julia is one of my clients now. Which can be a different dynamic being friends.
Totally.
And being client and trainer.
There's a whole new level of accountability. Like,
Yeah.
I can't lie to you. I have to sleep in your house at night. Like,
and every weekend I see what you know.
Yeah.
So it is a little bit different, but I think we do a good job of still, when we talk about fitness and nutrition, of maintaining like a client trainer perspective.
Totally.
Because like, even when you're having days where like work is rough, I don't want to go, you know, as a friend, I'd be like, oh, you know, it's okay. As your trainer, I'm like, but you know that once you go, you're going to feel better. Like, you need to get off the couch and you need to go.
Yes.
You know, we have really honest conversations that I would have with a normal client as well, where it's very straightforward.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of times you're telling me you don't want to go. It's not for like, it's just because you don't want to go. Like, I know that.
Guilty.
And so I'm a very honest coach, and that's something that I think my clients like. And so on our fitness journeys right now, Julia is currently more on a weight loss journey right now. So you want to kind of just elaborate a little bit on where you're at?
For sure. So my goals, I started, like pseudo started in July and then really kicked it into high gear in August. And so my goals right now are really improving heart health. I'm tired of my Apple Watch yelling at me for having low cardio fitness. I feel attacked. And so we're working on getting into the normal and hopefully superior range one day. And then also bringing the weight down. And you're going to get sick of me talking about this if you listen to the podcast, but I at first was really motivated aesthetically. I wanted to lose weight for the appearance of it. And then that just wasn't really doing anything for me.
It wasn't as motivating for you.
No. Well, because
you still looked good.
Yeah. Like literally that was the problem. I was like, I look hot. There's no reason to, and I look at other curvy women and curvy bodies and I was like, they're beautiful. And so I had to switch up my motivation and I started focusing on little improvements. Yeah. So first it was my knee. I really wanted to be able to go up the stairs without my knee hurting. So Rachel was really instrumental in helping me starting on the treadmill. Then we put an incline on the treadmill. Then we tasted the Stairmaster. Yeah. I got scared. We paused from the Stairmaster. We reintroduced it.
It was a progression.
It really was. And so I'm really excited because now just after going to the gym, not every day, you know, but pretty
4 to 5 days a week.
Yeah, 4 to 5 days a week. We're putting in the work. I'm now able to do on average 100 flights of stairs in 30 minutes with no knee pain. So focusing on little health goals for me and then weight coming off is a byproduct of me achieving those health goals. So,
and I think too with the weight as it's come off, that just seeing the number change has been more of a motivation than the physical. Because sometimes I'll tell you, I'm like, you're looking really thin, and you're like, wait, I am. Even though you know the scale's changing. Right?
Yeah.
So it's good that it's like intrinsically a reward for you. Because that's where our motivation truly comes from. Because if it's just like, oh, I want to look good for whatever, it's not as motivating as when you feel really, really good.
Totally.
Like, I think that motivation definitely is completely different. And I think it's good to find that when you're starting a fitness journey so that you actually have motivation to do it. Because I have had countless people that be like, I want to look better. Yeah, like everyone does.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a good core reason.
Yeah, that's not going to get you out of bed at 6 a.m. to go on a Stairmaster.
Right, exactly. Because that's kind of where I'm at, is I'm doing bikini bodybuilding. That's all about how you look.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it is. And, but for me, like, you know, I'm seeing, like, the muscular changes. I'm seeing, like, the tiny, tiny, tiny little changes. But I'm also seeing, like, changes with my food. And, like, it's a much more dynamic process for me, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, so my fitness journey right now is currently bodybuilding. I have my coach. He monitors everything I do, and my workouts, I work out 6 to 7 days a week.
Yeah, you do.
Which is, and I never skip. It is my routine. It is exactly what I'm doing. I'm committed. I've told myself, like, I am paying this guy to tell me what to do. Like, I better do it because, like, it's my money that I'm investing into it. And, my motivation, though, even though bodybuilding is all about physique, my motivation is I'm competitive. And so for me, I'm going to have to walk up on a stage come later this year in a tiny little bikini amongst a bunch of other women who are also very motivated.
Yes.
And compete against them. And that is a very big source of motivation for me because I've always been competitive. I was a gymnast. I was a diver. So as an adult now, I'm finding things that make me competitive, and I really enjoy that. So that's my motivation is now, like, I, for myself, have standards for myself when I compete. Yeah. And so that's my motivation. And it just happens that the sport I chose is also bikini bodybuilding, which makes your physique look really cool. Yes. And it's really cool to manipulate and stuff. So that's where my motivation is. And my fitness journey right now is as strict as it's ever been. Yeah. Which you see that. Like, you see me weighing everything and the foods I'm eating, and I don't drink alcohol anymore. And so there's just a lot of new things. So we're both on different journeys, but we're both in different, like, we're parallel to each other. Like, yeah, you're tracking your food, I'm tracking my food. We're both doing it. We're both having workouts we have to do by our coach that are hard for us. And
and sometimes I get to do the workouts that I do. Coach gives you, which is horrifying.
Julia joins me for occasional leg days on the weekends. Yep. And just so y'all know, my coach is crazy, but he's great. And we've made so much progress in the past, year that him and I have been training together. So, and Julia's made so much progress. It's cool how, and like, you're able to keep up with my workouts now, which back in July wouldn't have happened.
If you had told me that, I just would have walked away. I wouldn't have believed you for a second.
Exactly. So our fitness journeys are both progressing very well, I would say. And we're able to relate on it because in fitness, all of those changes, whether you're a bodybuilder, whether you're losing weight, whether you're working on mobility, strength, all these pieces are still the same. Yeah. They just look different being the same pieces. Yeah. So whether you're on the crazy journey of what I'm doing, but your journey's also crazy. It's really hard. Yeah. I mean, it is. Like, weight loss is not an easy thing. And especially mentally. Both of them are very mentally challenging. So that's where I think our dynamic works so well. Yeah. Is because we're both on these journeys that, like, parallel each other. Yeah. Which is super cool.
Well, and I think that's a great segue into why we created this podcast is because of exactly where we are right now. We're both learning and growing and developing. And so the thesis basically of our podcast is we want each episode to build on the last and really help you no matter where you are in your fitness journey, whether you're a Rachel, you're bodybuilding, you feel like you've got it all under control, or you're like me.
Not always.
You're like me and you're like, what's a macro? Like, I got you. Like, we're both here for you, and hopefully through our interactions on the podcast, you will gain something no matter what your knowledge level is. And if nothing else, we hope you leave inspired and motivated, because that's what our friendship does for each other. So we want to share that.
For sure. Yeah, I know. I just had a conversation this morning with someone where after just talking about fitness journeys and what it looks like and the hard parts of it, but also like the very rewarding parts, no matter what fitness journey it is, they were like, oh, I feel really motivated right now. Like, I'm gonna go kick this workout. Like, it's just hearing about it, talking about it, like, it's always so motivational. I know, like, sometimes we sit there and we look at, like, people's Instagrams, or like checking it before we start our workouts, and it's like, okay, I'm there.
We're pulling up Lauralee?
Yeah, Lauralee. Yeah, like, it's just, there's stuff that needs to be talked about too. And there's a lot of questions in the fitness industry.
So many questions.
And working as a personal trainer, I have so many people bring me so many questions about so many different things, or you bringing me questions.
Constantly.
Or I have questions. When I train with my coach, I sit there and ask him questions the entire time. Yeah. There's so much to learn and, like, keep learning. And so I think having a platform for us to talk about it, bounce back and forth off of it, will be perfect, because you have questions, I have questions, we're in different places, people have questions. So I think it will be great for everyone to listen to, and we hope you guys continue to listen because we're very excited about it. This is stuff we feel really good and passionate about.
Yeah.
And want to share that with the world. I know my clients are so excited.
If you're listening, hi!
So, Julia, what can people look forward to? Like, where are we going?
Where are we going? So we wanted to start out with the building blocks. So starting next week, we are going to be talking calories, macros. After that, we're going to be building into something we're both really passionate about, strength training.
Yeah.
And from there, you can just expect really anything that you could encounter on a fitness, wellness, nutrition journey. We're going to talk mental health, body image, keeping it real at every single step of the way.
Yes, the struggles.
The struggles all the way. Yeah, we really were passionate about including growing pains in the title because this stuff is hard.
It is hard. And I think sometimes when we see like the weight loss transformations on like Instagram and stuff where people are like, getting it done, like that's hard. Like I post on my story a lot where I'm like doing my cardio or doing my weightlifting, and there are so many days where I'm like, I don't want to do this today.
Yeah.
But you know, it's that mindset and having someone like a coach to rely on, or just like showing up for yourself, because you know you're gonna feel better the next day knowing you did it. And I know there's been so many times where you've called me saying, "Oh my god, I'm glad I went." Like guys, I will call her.
I'm getting called out right now.
She sits in the parking lot of the gym and she's like, "I don't want to go in," and I just call her when she texts me that, and I'm like, I do have her location, so I'm like, I see that you're in the parking lot. No, truly. But I need you to go inside.
You're so close,
You're
babe.
so close there. So yeah, and I am really excited to bring nutrition into it. So we are going to kind of alternate fitness, nutrition, things like that. And I think the tracking calories and macros and things is something that can be touchy for people because there's a lot of negativity towards it as well. So I think if we can explain it a little bit more and people can have a better understanding of what that truly looks like to count macros, truly count your calories, like how that can be super beneficial for you and mentally, like it can be really, really helpful. So we are going to elaborate on that on the next episode, which is something that I love talking about. Yeah. I can talk about
She could go on forever. We're going to have to rein her in on the macros.
Yes. But I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be awesome. Yeah. And we're going to try to really post the episodes every week. Yeah. And take people's suggestions. We love that. The suggestions, we love that. Because I know people have questions. Yeah. And I only get to meet with people individually one-on-one a lot. So it's nice when we can really share that information on a broader scale. And that's something I really care about, is educating. And I know, Julia has her knowledge now too, and she can talk on it, and especially speaking from experience. Yeah. You can definitely speak on the experience and how that looks to move into a fitness journey, starting from scratch, basically.
Yeah, truly.
I mean, really. So it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. All that being said, we are so excited to get back to you next week. Thank you for hanging around, and this has been the first episode of Girls, Gains, and Growing Pains.